Okay, what was the last thing you taught in the last video? Here's what I don't want you to think.
Here's what I don't want you to think, and then say it, and then here's what I do want you to think.
Okay, so this is going to be important
We're practicing
for this video because we're kind of nervous about doing this, and we really don't have, we don't work by script. So what you get is what you get. So what do we not want them to think?
We don't want you to think that we are trying to rile up some partisan opinions about this interesting leadership phenomenon that we've noticed. We don't want you to think that, although you can probably guess.
Yeah, yesterday the election was finished, and so I think everyone was surprised, and so part of it's sort of getting your head around it. And certainly I think through the whole season, there's been a lot of thinking and soul searching, and how am I responding to that, and why are they doing that, and press did that, and did that backfire on them, or there's just been
it's been contentious. No, everyone could probably agree that this has been contentious.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that we do want to talk about. So this is what we do want you to think. We really are curious about an interesting phenomenon that we noticed, and we want your opinions. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, that's what this is about. So we're not trying to make a statement about either political party, although we do have our own personal opinions. That's not what this is about.
Ask my husband, he knows. We're like the opposite. So,
join my Facebook page, then you'll know.
It took me 2 days for he and I to have a conversation. But, so let me preface this by something we said in another video was, a study showed that oftentimes men are hired for their potential. He hasn't done it before, but I think he's got skills to be able to do it. Women are more likely to be hired if they've done it.
So women have a proven record. Then they get hired.
Yeah.
And so we want to talk about the difference between Donald Trump and Sarah Palin. So when Sarah Palin was first announced as the running mate, who was she running with?
McCain.
John McCain. I remember where I was. I was at work. I was working on the 3rd floor. I was in recruiting at the time, and I knew I did not want Sarah Palin, John McCain to win. And when they said they added a woman to the ticket, I was like, oh no, they're gonna beat us. That's what I thought.
Did you?
Oh my God, because I didn't know anything about her at the time.
I didn't either.
I didn't know anything about her. And I was surrounded by conservatives, and we always had a lot of fun with it. But what was interesting was, after about 3 hours of vetting, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember how people treated her?
Well, and I remember an interview in particular with Katie Couric interviewing her, and she asked questions, what magazines do you read?
Yes.
Newspapers and magazines.
Do you mean? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah, just got slammed for that. And so what I thought was interesting is, at the very core, she was being, her credibility and her ability to do the job, being knowledgeable enough about world politics, certainly,
Can you
but
see
general
Russia from
and
your
finance.
house or not?
Right. So did she have a clue what she was talking about?
Lipstick on a pig was not acceptable.
That's right.
That was not acceptable. And
That's
then
right.
you contrast that with today, when Donald Trump doesn't, we don't know what he reads. Did he even get asked that question?
No.
In fact, the fact that he hasn't been a proven leader in politics is worked to his benefit, not to his detriment.
Yeah.
What do you think that's about? You think that study has something to do with it?
I do. I think, and I was, it's just striking to me how she was sort of belittled. And
sort of.
And I was, believe me, I was one going, who is someone who doesn't have the experience getting in, but she just was.
Oh, and she had political office.
Yes, she did. Governor.
She was governor.
Yeah. So, it's I think she was really gotten after, do you have the knowledge and experience to be able to do it? That was a huge piece of it. And not character, not so much. It's, are you smart enough, and do you knowledge and experience? And that really went out the window with Trump. That was just never a huge point. I mean, I think certainly it was saying, what's your plan?
Yeah.
And wanted to know the plan. But
when you contrast the two of them, she is college educated. She was governor. On paper, she had some qualifications to be in the job. And from a a social perspective in the way we treated her, no one was saying, "Oh, well, we don't need politicians." No, but no one was saying that. We don't need people who are well-read. No one was saying that. And so it'd be interesting to hear from our audience why they think that's true.
Yeah, they didn't ask Trump, what do you know about Afghanistan? What do you know about this? What do you know about that? What do you know about, basically government 101 questions that she got a lot of questions around, as I recall, and there just wasn't that. So I think the question is, did it have to do with personality? Did it have to do with gender? Did it have to do with sign of the times? Yeah, there was a, looking back on it, you kind of feel sorry. I mean, I would have never
You feel
survived.
sorry for self-preservation?
I would have never, for Palin, I'd be, in a bunker, in a hole, in a ball.
All curled up.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say is this. I don't know that I'll ever run for political office because I probably wouldn't make it through the vetting process in general.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting. And if there's nothing else that I want the audience to do, this is just about critical thinking. Why do you think there is the difference? Is it significant? Does it matter? Why does it matter? What's the impact on us now or maybe into the future of the way that these two, one was a vice presidential candidate and the other is now our president-elect.
Right.
But it'd be interesting to know what the audience thinks about this topic.
Being critical and being, we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you and hear what you think about it.
Yeah.